Well, hello to you and all of you. Danny Boy Reg, back with you again with Bill Corpus Crispy. How's it going, Billy?
Going good, buddy. How you doing? It is Friday. We made it through another one.
Made it through another one for sure. Good week, hopefully.
Yes, a little busy, but in the words of my grandmother, God rest her soul, keeps you out of trouble.
Absolutely, man. Episode number 421 of the Sports Sanity Podcast. We are live and in living color on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the channel. Uh, and of course, hit the like button on this video. And of course, push that button for those notifications. And we appreciate you and we love you as always for joining us on Friday. Uh, a lot, even though not too much news, but a lot going on. NBA Finals is tonight. We'll preview Game 4 and, of course, recap a little bit of Game 3, which didn't go quite well for OKC, but it's going pretty solid for Indiana. I have to say about that. And then, of course, other stuff will be getting ahead, but we have to talk about this real quick. This dropped literally last night as I was going to bed. Billy Boy read it up this morning. How about this Antonio Brown story, Bill?
Oh my God. My God, how come we okay. For those of you who don't know, Antonio Brown was arrested with there was an arrest warrant issued last night
Yeah,
for Antonio Brown for attempted murder.
yeah,
The
yeah,
warrant stems from a shooting at a celebrity boxing event in May, which Brown originally said he was the victim of of attempted robbery and release, though new evidence appeared to show Brown was the aggressor in the altercation.
yeah.
Brown
And then
attempted
now
it.
go ahead. Sorry, Bill. I cut you off. Go ahead.
Police were attempted to serve Brown with the warrant on Thursday, but were unable to locate him. It calls for the former receiver to post a 10 grand bond, which is probably like pocket change to him,
Yeah,
and be placed under house arrest pending trial, indicating that the courts view Brown as a potential flight risk.
yeah. He was briefly detained at that boxing event, by the way. Um, but obviously was let go, and now they want him for attempted murder. There are witnesses saying that he was the one that was firing the gun, and of course, shell casings and all that stuff were on the scene. So, man, Antonio Brown. This is just wild. Obviously, we know his career took a massive turn. He was never the same after he left Pittsburgh. And then he bounces from team to team, the Raiders, the Bucks, and all those stuff. And, then of course he leaves the NFL and gets into massive uh legal trouble. And you know, it's sad what we're seeing right
You
now.
know what it is? It's like, listen, this guy has some deep-seated mental health issues.
And that's the thing. And I'm glad that you brought that up because it's the truth. The truth of the matter is, he has issues that he needs
And
to work out. If that means, hey, I gotta go away for a little bit, doesn't necessarily have to be federal prison or anything. But if I have to go away for a little bit, go away for a little bit. And he really needs some rehabilitation for his life, for his sake.
because you know what? He's an interesting character. And what I mean by that is this is someone that with his antics, we sit here and laugh.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, this is the time for laughing at him is gone.
Yeah, no, this is not a funny matter anymore. This is
No, it's not because remember when when it was against the Jets when he was basically coach threw him out of the game and he basically stripped down to like his shorts and he's topless and everything and he's prancing around the field. Remember that?
yeah, I was watching that game. It was hilarious.
And then, and then like we can laugh at that, but looking back at it now, I'm sorry. This guy. I I hate to say this, dude. This guy's freaking dangerous.
Yeah, well, in the moment, obviously, it was kind of out of the blue and it was just weird. But now that we know that this guy really, really has some form of issues, he's getting into fights with people, um, you know, all these other crazy stuff that's happened to him legally since he left the NFL has just been a lot, and he needs help. He really does. And I say this, as a fan because I was a huge fan of Antonio Brown. I had no issue with it. But of course, his antics at the end of his career, plus what we're seeing now, it's tough times for him. And I really hope that whatever this comes out of it, I don't know what's going to come out of this experience here, but whatever it is, I hope he gets the rehabilitation that he needs for his mental health, for his physical health, just for his overall life, because that's what it's about. It's about his overall quality of life, though.
And yeah, like listen, there is evidence, but as we say and everything with the legal system, I'm sorry, Reg, I don't know why I just called it Justin, my apologies, but Reg, you know what they say. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah,
On some days, everyone is guilty until proven innocent.
yeah,
But yeah, just this is terrifying right now.
yeah.
Like again, we laughed at this guy for a while, but dude, this guy is freaking dangerous.
Well, I mean, I don't know if dangerous is the right word. I see what you're getting at. I'm not saying I get what
Okay,
you're saying.
unstable.
That's a way better way to put it. Like it's like to a point, unstable to a point where being around him probably does more harm than good, and that's of course never never a good thing. Never a good thing at all. Just a couple of other string of off field incidents. The sexual assault while he was with the Patriots. He only played like a game. The In 2020 he had pleaded no contest at the federal burglary and battery charge. Just a lot of crap that has gone on in his life that derailed his career and now may derail his life if he doesn't get it together. So
Yeah, this is just terrifying right now, isn't it?
yeah,
This is terrifying. I hope he gets the help he needs, but I'm sorry. We are at the point, we are at the point where I'm sorry. This is just scary.
yeah,
This is just freaking scary, dude. And the man is mentally unstable, and that's being too kind to him right now.
yeah,
But I hope he just gets help he needs, but you know what? He might. But now this is no longer just a mental health issue. This is now a legal issue. This is now a legal issue.
yeah.
So, yeah, that's what's going on with Antonio Brown from laughing stock to holy crap. What do you know about the
Holy crap, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, because this isn't just like he got into a fight with the bouncer. This is like freaking attempted murder here, folks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got to see what happens with that case. Hopefully the truth is revealed and whatever happens, happens. I'm sorry. Like, I'm done covering for Antonio Brown at this point. Like, yeah, I've always said that maybe I think it was Mark who said it, he may be showing signs of CTE.
Which is another thing, that That's another thing that, obviously you don't know until you die because
I
the
think we need better screening for that. We really do.
what we need is medical breakthroughs so that we can find out when players are alive. Uh, and of course, we don't know how to necessarily treat CTE because, again, it's not, you find out later after death. But just knowing it and how you could, at the very least, treat your mental health, therapy, whatever pills you need to go on to make you happy, all that stuff to help out, and then find course of treatment. But hopefully some medical breakthroughs because that is a good point. CTE is very much still a thing. It's a thing with a lot of football players that doesn't get talked about because um, you know, not that no one cares, but it is an issue.
Yes, we need better screening for CTE because I think Antonio Brown has it.
Yeah,
Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm just a jackass who does a podcast in the basement.
exactly.
But no, we need better screening for this.
Yeah,
All right, moving along to a lighter subject
much lighter subject. A great
and an
subject.
exciting lighter subject.
Exactly.
NBA Finals Game 4 between the Thunder and the Pacers tonight.
Yeah, man.
And Thunder might be in a little bit of trouble here.
A lot of trouble. They're down 2-1 to the Pacers. How about Indiana?
All right, folks, did anyone have this on their bingo card?
I knew it would be a tough series for OKC. I did not think they would be down the series after 3 games. I thought for sure. Look, first 2 games, I thought for certain that it was going to be back and forth, very close, and everything. Uh, Game one was that way, but it went Indiana's way. Game two was a blowout for OKC. They won it. Another close one in game three. But how about this, Bill? The Oklahoma City Thunder, they were outscored by 14 points in the fourth quarter in game three, 32-18. Uh, and that's how they were able to propel themselves to a game three victory. How about Benedict Mathurin, who was a killer for the Pacers against the Knicks. He absolutely killed the Knicks. He had 27 points, which was a game high. And he came off the bench. So he um, pretty much lit a fire for the Pacers, and it was absolutely terrific. I think Halliburton had like 22, Siakam had another 21. A lot of turnovers for the the Thunder, excuse me, in the fourth quarter, and just incredibly unforced errors. Uh, Credit to Indiana's defense that helped with that victory too, as well.
Yeah, so now we got. I'm sorry, folks. I'm getting work text coming in. God,
Billy Boy's a
people,
working man.
people,
Welcome to
leave
the
me
club.
alone.
Welcome to the club, Billy Boy.
I know, right? No, but if my boss is watching, I'm just kidding. No, you can text me. I'll get back to you in a bit. I promise.
Uh,
Um,
oh God.
no, I'm sure she's cool. I'm sure she get. I'm sure when I said leave me alone, I'm sure she probably got a chuckle out of
It's
that.
a blessing in disguise, though. You have to understand
Yeah,
that.
you know what? I think being busy, in the words of again, as my grandmother would say, God rest her soul, keeps you out of trouble.
Yeah, man.
But what's the fun in staying out of trouble? Okay, but anyway, getting back to the game. Sorry, Debbie, if you're watching, Debbie, Eddie, if you're watching, shout out. Um, but anyway, um, yeah, but no, this was an absolute, you know, last week. Pacers are in tr the Thunder are in trouble right now.
Yeah.
Thunder are in trouble. And this was the first time the Pacers won a game in a finals game in Indiana in 25 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know, Indiana has a very deep bench,
Hmm.
and they scored 49 points off the bench, and the Thunder only scored 18.
Yeah. So yeah, the Thunder are having a lot of trouble, not necessarily scoring, but they're having a lot of trouble getting everyone involved. Usually the Thunder, look, they're an explosive defensive team and they're an explosive offensive team. Especially when off the turnover. Well, the Indiana Pacers limited those turnovers. As a matter of fact, it was the exact opposite. So, it was the OKC, making those stupid errors that led to it. But the biggest thing that we've seen so far as well, Jalen Williams, in OKC has not been good this series, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is obviously the biggest biggest part of that OKC team. His point totals have gone down significantly since game one. Game one, he had 38. Game two, he only had 34. He had 24 points. And I say this respectfully. In order for the Oklahoma City Thunder to win, I'm not saying you have to have 40 points a game. That's a little outrageous. At least 30 plus from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And the fact that we're not getting out of it, we only got 3 points in the fourth quarter in game three. That's massive, massive, great job by the Pacers defense, but not good enough for OKC. They need to get their acts together on the offensive end.
The th- and remember, before Wednesday night, the Thunder were 16 and 8 on nights when the score was within 5 points
Mm,
with 5 minutes or less to play.
yeah,
I think they need more clutch games right now.
yeah,
They need more clutch games.
yeah. They certainly do. Um, Unlike the OKC Thunder give up 32 points in the fourth quarter, unlike them to be outscored by double digits. That was a rough game three for them, at least in the fourth quarter, at least that final frame was really bad. Um, and Pacers have control. They've had to, I didn't realize it from game one, but the Pacers have control of the series. They're making the Thunder look like ass right now. Let's call it what it is.
And you know what? Like tonight, if the Pacers win tonight, the Thunder are in a deep hole.
Massive hole. I mean, and
Huge hole.
it is tough to win in Indiana. And that's another thing that people just don't understand. It's really tough to win at that arena with that hostile environment. I'm telling you, Bill, I think the fact that the Pacers are making the Thunder sweat a little bit, it's got them rattled. Like they look bad. Not that I've never look OKC. They don't always have like perfect games. I'm saying, but this series in particular has them rattled. Like in past series where the OKC would lose a game, they would lose home advantage. They bounce back and they bounce back big time.
Oh, they do.
This is one of those rare occasions where where we're seeing OKC at its worst. It's bad, dude. Massive game four here. If you can win in Indiana and bring it back to OKC, even while the numbers are against you, I think 80% of the time, any team that wins game three go up 2-1 advantage. They win the series. Um, the numbers may be against them, but at least it puts more pressure on Indiana. That's what you have to do.
No, you got to put pressure because, like we said, we're at a time when we're at a time right now where you got to go to and listen, it's hard to play at the opponent's venue anywhere.
Yeah.
It's hard to play at the opponent's anywhere. But
Mhm.
that crowd is gonna be rocking tonight.
Yeah. Need to
And
see
then
more out.
and
Go ahead. So I cut you off. I keep cutting you
no,
off.
because
I
then
understand.
they have to the Thunder, if they lose tonight, they say we got to go back to OKC, and they're like, "Hey, we don't want them to embarrass us on our home court."
Yeah. Which they probably won't. But yeah.
Yeah, but no, and we've been saying, even though this is a small market series,
No,
even
these
though
are
this
two
is
good teams.
yeah, it's two good teams, and we said from the beginning this was going to be a tough series. We said it from the beginning.
Yeah.
So yeah, game four tonight, and like I said, Thunder lose, they're in huge ass trouble.
Massive, massive trouble. Um, Need more out of SGA. Need more out of the starting unit in general, and get back to your identity. Force the turnovers. Play good defense. Indiana, whenever they're getting hammered on defense, is they're never good. So go back to your identity. Don't lose that, and don't blow leads. They blew another lead in the fourth quarter. That's how. That's another thing. That this is the second game this series where OKC had a lead going into the fourth quarter, had a lead in the fourth quarter, and blew it.
Okay. No, yeah, that was a problem.
Yeah.
So now we gotta look. So now we're looking at okay, game four tonight. If Thunder win, they're back in this series.
Yeah.
They're
I,
back in the series.
yeah, it's certainly not going to be the big blowout, but yeah, it's going to be tighter for sure. Um, I think it goes seven if the Thunder win tonight. I That's my opinion. I think it goes seven, but let's see.
Let's see what happens. Okay, now next on the docket, we covered this. We talked about this back in March or April on Bombers Banter. Brett Gardner's son who died, they're actually doing an investigation
Mhm.
to see if it was a homicide.
Yeah, and hopefully that doesn't turn out to be the case. But yeah, you have authorities in Costa Rica where they were on vacation, the Gardeners. They are looking into it to make sure there was no possible uh way that he was murdered. Um, this still obviously I just I look at this story and I can't help but feel for Brett and his family. Brett Gardner, obviously all-time Yankee. We loved him, for
Fan
sure.
favorite.
Yep, 100%. His tail years were terrible, but he's still an all-time Yankee. We got to give him the respect. He was great when he was good. Um, I can't imagine, the fact that you still have to deal with this months after um the death of your son, that there's a possibility, and of course hopefully it's nothing crazy, but possibility that he was murdered. Like the fact that's still hanging out there must be tough for the Gardeners. So I really do send them all the love and
And
everything.
like, listen, I know a lot of people would probably make the argument, Reg, oh, maybe knowing what actually happened will give Brad, his wife, and their other son some peace. What peace?
There is no peace. It doesn't exist when you lose a family member. You know?
There is no peace in this point, guys. I'm sorry. There is no peace. They had to bury their son.
Yeah.
And okay, if they maybe it'll give them some closure, but maybe now because if I get on one hand, you're saying you don't know what your kid died of, but you don't know what your kid died of, but at the same time, It's not going to bring him back to life.
Uh-huh.
These, there's no peace in this situation, people. There's no peace. Maybe we'll grant them some, okay, we know what he died of, but that really doesn't do us much right now. Yeah, just listen, the people who are going to say this might give the Gardeners some peace, it's not.
Well, for the rest of their lives, Brett Gardner, his wife, and his other son, for the rest of their lives, they're gonna feel empty knowing that a member of their family is dead, that he's never coming back. Yes, there's acceptance. Yes, you move on, but there's no getting over that. No matter what people say, there is no getting over it.
Because years ago, I had a good friend of mine who lost his 13-year-old brother to cancer.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's something that family is never going to be at peace with.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it even worse because just this past November, hit my friend's father passed. So I guess that makes things even worse.
Yeah.
So listen, the people who are going to say this is going to bring the Gardeners some peace of mind, it isn't.
Huh.
I'm sure part of them probably wants to know what happened, but the other part of them was like, you know what, just let him rest in peace.
He's dead. I hate to say it that way, but he's dead. It's not going to change anything. It's not going to change how they feel. You know, so we'll keep you on top of this. Hopefully, nothing really comes of it. Um, but yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one to swallow. Has been since we found out about it prior to opening day, of course, which is even worse.
I
Um,
know, right?
yeah. Poor thing. By the way, while we're on the Yankees, they swept the Royals. Hooray.
We'll take it.
Will
I'll take
Warren,
it.
Will Warren pitched well. Our good friend Ross, the Caddy Mason, he no longer appears on the network. Um, we miss you, by the way, Ross. We appreciate your friendship. He was worried about Will Warren. And I want to just emphasize Will Warren is 25, going on 26 years old. You have to be patient with these young pitchers. Have to be patient.
Yes.
You know, he delivered a solid night. It was against the Royals, but they delivered a solid night, right? His past couple games weren't as great. Okay. That's the up and downs of learning how to play in the majors, right? So give him some time and you get good results like you did last night, right?
Yes.
Now it was only a 1-0 victory. Of course, the small ball has to be the way the Yankees win.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, win to win, we'll take it. Devin Williams, another shutdown, uh, closing outing, which is pretty nice. Good series out of Aaron Judge, 2 straight nights of home runs, which is what we will see.
We'll take
Uh,
it. And it looks like and this weekend we're shipping up to Boston. Whoa.
um, we get Max Free this weekend, right?
Sunday, I think he's pitching.
Okay, so that's good. Freed's been phenomenal. Um, this entire season. He was great on Tuesday night. So let's get at it. And how about this other baseball news? Jacob Mizorowski, he was making his major league debut. This poor guy was pitching a no-hitter until Billy Boy. This
Cramps.
happened. This is courtesy, by the way, of FanDuel Sports Network in Wisconsin. Play the video, dang it. No.
Yeah, thanks, ESPN. You fail us again.
Well, I'll just get to the chase. The video's not working. I don't know why, but he was pitching a no hitter, and then it was a pitch um to it was a pitch to trying to get the player's name, Victor Scott, where he landed on his leg awkwardly, and it turns out turned his ankle, left with cramps in his quads.
Yeah.
This poor guy, I mean, was dueling, absolutely dueling, and he leaves with an injury. Just that's a tough way to end your major league debut, I have to say.
Yeah, that is not a good way to end it, to end your major league debut.
Yeah, I think I got the video. Hopefully, got the video back. I don't have the video back. It's all right. ESPN's acting up. I don't know why, but thanks, ESPN. We'll never trust you again. Um, but in any case, well, what's your reaction, Bill?
Just cramps. Like, come on, these people are supposed to be world-class athletes.
Oh, come on, cramps happen to men.
Yeah, they do. But,
But
it sucks
it
that,
hurts. It
no,
hurts.
I've had many of them. I've had many of them. I'm sure you've had many of them.
Yeah, not fun. Drink some water. Drink some Gatorade.
Drink some water, drink some Gatorade, stretch.
You know, that's a good point. Stretch. Stretch
Stretch,
those legs out. All right.
But yeah, so yeah, but it sucks. He had such a great game going, and it just,
Yeah.
he done.
Yeah. The Brewers manager Pat Murphy. Um,
My
no,
cousin Pat.
yeah. No reason to worry. He says he's all good. But obviously, when there's a young prospect, he's 23 years old. When you have a young prospect, you don't want to push it further if he's not feeling right. So you take it out of precaution, and you hope for the best the rest of the season. So. You know. But congratulations on no hit innings. That's an accomplishment right
That is
there.
an accomplishment. So
You
well
know,
done.
that's a good major league outing, you know?
That is a very good major league outing. So just take care of yourself, and we wish you well. Just take care
Uh,
of yourself there.
a lighter story to end
Yeah,
our
but
show.
I actually got a really lighter story. Okay. Did you see this? Okay, at the Vatican, um,
Oh
Pope
yes.
Leo,
Hmm.
you know what I'm talking about. He had a gather, I think, with the married newlyweds. Quick fun story. Friend of mine from college, he got married last year, him and his wife, and they took their honeymoon to Rome, and they got to be part of a newlywed audience in which they got to meet the late Pope Francis. But did you see this yesterday, Reggie boy? The Holy Father, Pope Leo, in a White Sox hat.
And officially, and we of course we've already known this, but
Yeah, but you
he's
know what? I think this
officially
makes
official
this
that
makes
he
it
is a
super.
White Sox fan. That poor soul. While we appreciate his service to the Catholic community, the poor soul must be suffering through White Sox fever because it is bad in Chicago. But glad to see that he supports his White Sox.
Because you know what makes this even? Because we knew because there was the video of him at Game One of the 2005 World Series, and I think they're like memorializing where he sat for
Yeah.
that game. And like tomorrow at Guarantee Rate Field, he's doing a he's going to be live streaming from the Vatican, giving a message to America, and they're all going to watch it in Chicago, and there's going to be a mass there. But I think what makes this cool is, dude, he's wearing the freaking white cassock.
Yeah.
He's wearing the freaking white cassock.
Didn't realize that. That's crazy.
He's not wearing the stiletto, I think it's called, the skull cap.
Right.
But no, but you know what? This kind of reminds me, and this is coming from me as a Catholic here. I think this Pope is kind of chill
I think so too. I think so too.
because people were getting all in knots when they saw him when he first came out. He was wearing the Mozzetta, the red vest thingy.
Yeah.
Because people were thinking, oh my God, he's going to be more conservative, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because Francis didn't wear it when he came out, but Leo did. But no, this seems like a guy. He's like they're like, Holy Father, shouldn't you wear the skull cap? Nah, I'll wear my White Sox hat. I'll just wear my White Sox hat.
Yeah.
I like that. It's kind of a nice touch. It just shows he's a normal, run-of-the-mill, down-to-earth dude.
And one thing that Francis taught us is that, be yourself.
And that's what Leo is doing.
Leo's being himself, man.
Not sports related, but did you see this? Like he showed up late to a thing, and he said, "Yeah, first of all, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm not even a month into the new job. I've got to get used to this." So, but no, no, but no. You know what? But no, the White Sox they have some divine intervention, but I don't think even that could save them.
Oh
I
God.
don't think even the freaking Pope can save them.
No, not quite. I mean, you never know. You never know.
Like, they got God on their side now, so
Yeah, for sure, man.
um, they got God on their side. But
Yeah, and they're gonna need it. They're still in last place, uh, in the whole AL, by the way, and things not going well. They could really use some God loving right now. So, you know.
yeah, that's what but yeah, but no, they could use some divine intervention right now because I remember right after he was elected, Stephen Colbert on his show, he had Father James Martin, a Jesuit priest, they were talking, and he said he's a White Sox fan, so he knows what it's like to suffer.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, but anyway, yeah. Pope I almost said Pope Francis. Pope Leo rocking his White Sox hat at the Vatican. All I gotta say is well done. And you know what? Before we wrap up today, you got anything else, Reg? Or
I don't have anything else. No.
yeah, before we wrap up today, special shout out to all the dads, granddads, uncles, male figures in everyone's life. Happy Father's Day
Yes.
to all the dads, granddads, uncle, your paternal figure.
Mhm.
You know, yeah, happy Father's Day, Dad. Love you.
Yeah, Pop, I wish I could see you this Sunday. Obviously, it's gonna be a good day for you. Thanks for teaching me being man. I say this every year because it's the truth. My dad taught me, what it was like to grow up and be a good person in life. And I appreciate that. I appreciate all the love you know, he's an awesome guy. Bill's father is an awesome
My
person too.
dad's great. He's taught me a lot of important lessons. I think the most important lesson my dad told me was don't take anyone's bullshit.
Exactly. And it's
I
the
think
truth.
that was a very important lesson he taught me.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, Dad, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks to my dad as well, just for being such a good presence in my life. I whenever I needed him, just to chat, he was there. And that's amazing. And of course, happy Father's Day to everybody out there.
To all the
All the great
dads.
dads, all the great father figures, the grandfathers too. Okay, give about the grandfathers.
Yeah.
And to all of you folks, have an awesome weekend.
Have a great weekend, guys.
To all the Yankee fans, let's hope we win a series in Boston.
Let's their mindset should be they embarrassed us in the Bronx. Now we're going to Beantown.
Yeah,
Let's embarrass them on their field.
absolutely, man. And then and kick ass. Don't just win. Let's kick ass. I'm tired of Alex Cora punking us every managerial move he makes. I'm tired of
Because
all
he always
these.
outmanagers Boone.
It's ridiculous, and I'm tired of all these no-name Red Sox players who continue to pounce on the Yankees whenever they can. Like I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. So kick their ass this weekend. Don't just sweep them. Kick their ass.
Beat their ass.
Now they're not going to sweep them, but whatever. Kick their ass when you can. All right, folks. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. Episode 421 in the books. Again, subscribe to our channel. If you like what you see, follow our socials. Push the bell for notifications. All of it's down there. And then, of course, log on to our website, sportscitynetwork.com, and follow our podcast. We have a new episode of This Week in T-Ball with Troy and Mark Halpern doing their thing. So please follow the channel for that. Listen to our podcast on many of these great podcast platforms.
Many. All right. So from both of us here, stay safe. Take care.
We love you.